What does national security actually mean? Governments use it to justify wars, alliances, military spending, and even restrictions on freedom. But here is the problem. What if national security does not actually mean one clear thing at all? This is exactly the question raised by Arnold Wolfers, one of the early thinkers in international relations and a key figure in classical realism. Writing in the mid 20th century, especially in his collection titled Discord and Collaboration, Wolfers was deeply interested in how states behave, how they define their interests, and how they justify their actions. And in one of his most influential essays, he turned to a concept that everyone uses, but very few actually question: national security. Wolfers begins with a simple observation. When leaders say they are acting for national security, we assume they are referring to something concrete and objective. But in reality, the term itself is vague. It does not have a single fixed meaning. It changes across countries, across time, and even across situations. So, what does security actually mean? Wolfers give us a very clear framework. He says security has two meanings. First, an objective meaning, that is, the actual absence of threats to a country's important values like its territory or independence. Second, a subjective meaning, that is, the feeling of being safe or the absence of fear. And these two do not always match. A country may be objectively secure but still feel deeply insecure. At the same time, a country may face real threats but not perceive them strongly. This gap between reality and perception is crucial. It tells us that international politics is not just about material power, it is also about how states interpret and respond to situations. Think about why some countries build massive militaries even when there is no immediate threat, or why others remain relatively calm despite clear dangers. Wolfers helps us to understand that behavior is shaped as much by perception and fear as by actual conditions. This idea connects directly to something very familiar in international relations, which is the security dilemma. When one state increases its security, others feel less secure and respond by building up their own power. But Wolfers pushes this further. He shows that this reaction is not only about real threats, it is also about perceived threats. Fear itself becomes a driving force in world politics. Then he moves to a more uncomfortable idea. We often assume that security is the most important goal for every country. But Wolfers says this is not always true. Security is important, but it is not the only value. States also care about economic growth, welfare, political stability, and freedom. And sometimes increasing security comes at the cost of these other goals. For example, a country can increase defense spending to feel safer, but that may reduce spending on education or healthcare. So the real question is not just how to increase security, but how much security is enough. And this is where Wolfers makes a very important point. Absolute security is not possible. Every step towards greater security comes with a cost. Beyond a certain point, that cost may outweigh the benefits. So, security is not something states can maximize endlessly. It is something they must balance. This idea fits across different theories of international relations. Realists focus on survival and power, but Wolfers shows that even from a realist perspective, unlimited security is neither practical nor rational. At the same time, his argument opens a space for liberal ideas. If security is not just about military strength, then cooperation, institutions, and diplomacy can also play a role in reducing fear and building stability. And there is another important insight here. Even if two countries want the same thing, that is security, they may pursue it in completely different ways. One may choose military buildup, another may prefer neutrality. One may confront threats aggressively, another may try to negotiate or accommodate. So, there is no single correct path to security. It depends on context, leadership, history, and perception. This is why Wolfer's work remains so important. He forces us to question something we usually take for granted. And he does not stop at theory. He raises the deeper issues of morality. Every security decision involves trade offs. Increasing defense may improve safety but reduce welfare. Limiting freedoms may increase control but weaken rights. There are extreme positions. One says security justifies everything, the other says coercion is always wrong. But in reality, most decisions fall somewhere in between. And that is what makes security policy so complex. So, what is Wolfers really telling us? He's asking us to be careful with the language we use. When politicians say national security, we should not assume it has a clear and fixed meaning. We should ask security for what, for whom, at what cost, and by what means. Because without these questions, national security becomes a powerful but a vague justification for almost anything. And that is why this idea is still matters today. From global conflicts to domestic policies, from military decisions to everyday governance, the language of security is everywhere. But as Wolfers remind us, clarity is not. And understanding that ambiguity is the first step towards truly understanding international politics.